Alright guys, welcome to the first YouTube video. I'm excited. As you know, I'm very anti-bullshit, so if you have any questions, I'm going to leave those for the comments. Other than that, I'm just going to hop pretty much into things. So for this video's topic, I want to make it a good start. I want to take off with momentum. So I'm going to cover the biggest issue I see with people and their fitness progress. So long story short, it all starts with their diet, because 80% of your fitness is going to be your diet. It's going to be very hard to outwork a bad diet. So a lot of people, they'll yo-yo diet, for example. That's number one. And then number two, another example is they'll diet hop. And then number three, they'll pretty much binge or purge eat. So yo-yo dieting is for a couple months, they'll stay on and they're on track and everything goes well, and then they get discouraged, or it's a motivation thing, not just a lifestyle thing, when in reality, when things get hard, that's when discipline comes in. But when you're just living everyday life, it should be more of a lifestyle. It should just be a couple of changes, not a whole new replacement or anything, which for some of you it might actually be, all depending on how you were raised and whatnot. If you were raised to eat super unhealthy food, that might just be considered life for you. Now, if you were raised to eat healthy food, you know what? That's a whole nother thing, and that's also considered life for you, actually. I take that back. So, yeah, whether you're raised to eat healthy or unhealthy, that's just life. But my main point being is that you have to learn how to adapt, right? So I don't want to get too sidetracked, but yo-yo dieting. You're consistent for a certain time period, and then you fall off for a certain time period. Now you have number two, which is diet hopping, which seems to be the biggest one, honestly. No one knows what diet works. When I'm just gonna say this right now and foreshadow it for those of you who don't get it. Currently, there's a reason that like the keto diet works for some of you and it doesn't work for others. There's a reason the paleo diet works for some of you and doesn't work for others. Main reason being, you may not be able to stick to it, or it's just not, like, we're all made different, right? And it may affect you differently. Now, what they do have in common, which is when people finally, after enough trial and error, do try one and it finally works, is that they actually all lead to a calorie deficit. So you can do a low carb, low fat diet, you can do a keto diet. Nonetheless, it's cutting out a macro, which macros actually have calories in and of themselves, which brings me to my main point of this whole video that I want to get to here in a minute. So number three, though, is binging and purging. You're just restricting yourself way too much, and then at the end of every week, you're like just binge eating out, and it's just the cycle across all three. It's like a hamster wheel. You're getting nowhere with it. We actually want to get towards where progress is made. So let's dive into it. I'm going to actually start here on my Instagram page, pretty much for the most part. Let me go ahead and go to my profile and then the actual business profile for you guys. So here it is. I knew it was there. So number one, I just want to make this very clear. Pretty much the whole background of dieting comes down to, at the end of the day, calories in, calories out, whether you like it or not. For some of you guys, it's going to be a hard truth to swallow, and for some of you, you may be more familiar with it. It may not be a big transition or a whole new thing to adapt to, which, you know what, good for you. Either way, don't make this harder than it needs to be. If you have the upper hand or it's already easy for you, don't shame yourself for it. You know what, easy come, easy go. Sometimes also, you know, as you were raised, it may have just naturally came easy, which still means it was hard, because overall that time you still were working at it. But anyways, point being though, calories in, calories out. Now you have three macros that actually make up calories and what they are. So protein, carbs, and fats. I'm pretty sure you guys know the roles and functions of each of them, which we're going to break down here in a moment. Fats, for starters, have 9 calories per gram. They're the most calorically compact, so to speak, and then so they have the most calories per gram, and then carbs are 4 calories per gram, protein 4 calories per gram. So every food has some sort of one of these three things that I'm showing you here, right? So now, what are the actual roles of each of them? Well, you have protein, which is like protein synthesis. I don't know where they get all these fancy terms from. All I know is I know what they mean and I know they're true. That's one. It's for recovery. They actually transport nutrients. It's also for hormone production, or else how else would muscle be built and have a backbone? Hormones are pretty much the backbone for that, for most of it. And then fluid and acid-base balance, you have like a bunch of lactic acid and stuff and all that, which it's kind of more so just like bone health and everything and muscle tissue, all that stuff. Same reason you stretch, and when you like, if I can't, there you go, you crack a knuckle, it's kind of more like fluid or air or bubbles are popping and stuff like that. And then also it builds muscle tissue, it just makes the muscle swell, and that's what gets more blood flow to them, allows them to recover, which we'll dive a bit more into further context to here under carbohydrates. Carbs are actually protein sparing. Protein synthesis is kind of more like the actual concept of delivering kind of like recovery functions to like your muscle cells and everything, which oxidation of fat, you can Google that one up. It's kind of hard to explain. And then fiber content, that's slowest digestion. That's off topic from the point right now. And then you actually have stored energy, glycogen, which is the main function and role of carbohydrates, which protein synthesis is kind of the operation of shipping those carbs through, glycosis or whatever, as glycogen into the muscle, which makes them hold water, swell, recover. Also, when they do that, it's also a good performance aid for when you perform, like when you're actually at the gym. So make sure, it's never the best idea to train on an empty stomach unless you're actually like trying to lose weight, for example. And some people just like to not train with a bunch of food in their stomach and actually find it more beneficial. Another thing though is also, it's just essential to get them as vitamins and minerals, unless you already have like some sort of diabetes or like blood sugar like problems you're dealing with. You're gonna actually need carbs, and a lot of people, they kind of preach like, do a low carb diet, go keto, they're bad for you. They're actually very, very good for you if you know how to use them right? So a lot of people think they're bad because they're actually put in a lot of bad addictive foods. Another thing, so in the long run, pretty much, is the point I'm trying to make here. They're not bad if they're balanced out. It's the same reason that a piece of fruit is going to be more nutritious than a piece of candy. Yes, they both have a bunch of sugar, but the fruit has the fiber to balance it out, so it digests more slowly. On the other hand, you have an actual piece of candy. It's going to spike your blood sugar. Also, that fiber's not going to be there to not only fill you up and make it digest slower, so it's going to cause your blood sugar to spike, then go down super fast. And then it's what kind of makes it really addictive, because also when you have like a sugar rush and stuff, it releases like, different chemicals in the brain. I think actually even serotonin too, which is kind of more like the it's more like the homeostasis of pleasure and winning, versus like dopamine is kind of like the actual addictive motivational side. So like serotonin is after you win, dopamine is what gets you to win or want more winning and pleasure. So anyway, that's the two distinct function between those, which is what makes sugar so addictive. And so, like anything, consistency is key. As long as you're not all over the place, the outcome's gonna be better because you're not all over the place, right? You have a specified outcome, and that's what's gonna happen. So sugar, your blood sugar spikes, it crashes, you want more of it simultaneously, versus like the complex carbs and stuff, like you have your whole grains, you have your breads, you have your like actual like high fiber bread, you have like slow digesting carbs, which for more examples would be like brown rice, wheat bread, blueberries. Berries are like the highest fiber fruit, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then, yeah, so that's the idea behind it. A lot of people mistake them. They're not bad. You actually need them. So a lot of people just think they're bad because a lot of people take advantage of them and all the addictive food that they make for us to consume. Yeah, it's the same reason that pizza's so addictive, candy's so addictive, Slurpees are addictive, Twizzlers, anything that's like not slow digesting. So fiber will always balance out sugar, but you do need sugar. It's a nutrient and it's edible for a reason, right? So anything in moderation is key as well. So also keep that in mind. Now another thing, it's like fiber, but it's not actually 0 calorie, but there's also a bunch of other benefits with it. So you kind of chew and spit out the parts you don't like. It's kind of one of those things where it's just like, figure it the fuck out, you know? Like I said, easy come, easy go. You know what? Maybe you found your thing, you got lucky. It's still going to be somewhat of a challenge to maintain, but my goal is to make it as easy as possible for you. So another thing with fats, as you can see right here, number one is actual, like, satiety control. So unlike fiber, they are going to have calories, but I tend to find that like fats also hit the spot for me usually, versus like if I'm just eating a bunch of white rice, it's like an endless pit. Like I just want more and more and more. So but if you have a full stomach and your blood sugar's balanced, that's what I would consider like, you know, a satiating meal, if it does both of those things for you. And then also, I don't know why exactly I put flavor enhancer here again. I think it's because some people like marinated their stuff in like healthy cooking oils and whatnot. Yeah, so that's another thing. I forgot why I put that, I'm not gonna lie. And then, you know, make stuff up out of thin air. But another thing is also hormone production. You do need fats for that. Specifically like testosterone being the main one. And then it also just has a bunch of other essential fatty acids and fat soluble vitamin benefits and everything like that of just taking fat. So like I take fish oil, and then also I forgot what exactly the backstory was behind it, but fats actually do help you absorb vitamins. Now at the end of the day, it's just pretty much keeping all the stuff I've covered with these in mind and knowing that they all stem down from the big picture, right? And you might even need to go back and rewatch this video a couple of times, because keyword psychology, it's learning, right? So you got to train your brain too. Your brain's actually a muscle as well, but well, technically treat it like one. But yeah, I wonder if it actually is or not. I don't know. All these scientific terms and stuff, you learn something new every day. So, but yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. And then before I go, there's also one more thing kind of wanted to make clear. I think I already did, just in case I didn't though. Like, if you're yo-yo dieting, yes, that's what it was. The 80-20 rule. I actually want to share that with you guys real quick here before I go. So you have what I call the actual 80-20 rule, where it is like 80% of your diet needs to be whole foods. Well, finding what works for you with these, you'll get better at it over time, and you'll have all this stuff down in 90 days. It seems like a nightmare now, but it doesn't get easier than this. So if you're giving up now, then I don't know what to tell you. Tough luck. I'm here to help you through it. If you guys want to go, you know, give me a visit, that's actually what this chat box is here for. But that being said, another thing to help you through this is the 80-20 rule. I don't want you guys to be inconsistent, like I said. Moderation's key. Also, like I said, you still need to enjoy your life, right? We're humans. We're not supposed to live to eat. We are supposed to eat to live. And part of living is also experiencing life itself, right? So you still need to, you know, enjoy a couple of sweets. One cookie out the cookie jar isn't going to fuck up your whole year of progress, right? So there's no good or bad food. There's only whole foods and, you know, more so processed foods. So, yeah, really be careful and try to understand and put yourself in my shoes, like from where I'm explaining this, when you intake all of this information. Because one thing can like kind of freak you out when really there's nothing to freak out about, right? It's more so just experience, and not just about being the best, but also, you know, trying to be the last one standing that doesn't give up. It's also half of being the best in and of itself. But yeah, just whatever you can be consistent with. So as long as you're hitting, these are basically the core four, right? You're hitting your protein goal every day. Now, regardless of whatever it is, you're hitting your calorie goal every day. You're following the 80-20 rule. And then on top of that, you're also following different tactics that like allow you to stay consistent. So if you give me a minute here, let me go ahead and actually do this for you guys. Let me see here. Hopefully this will work. All right, so as you can see, we're pretty much here. There's the nutrition page. Now this comes for free with your workouts and everything. I update it pretty much as I can. And then also, yes, it can be very easily stolen. So if you ask me questions about it and stuff and I see you don't actually have a subscription, unfortunately, as much as I want to see you win, you can't run a business for free. I'm not going to help you. And especially on top of that, if you somehow are asking me questions about this and you don't even have access to it, I just flat out know you're stealing it. So why would I want to help you? But you're hitting your protein goal. You're hitting your calorie goal. This is an example of from rather you're gaining or losing weight. And then also you're just following the 80-20 rule. Where is it at? Which is here, right? So you're living a healthy lifestyle. You're still getting to experience life and everything. And then you're following you're following one of these three tactics right here that I have up in front of you. So for like cutting, for example, really big thing. These are the main things. I'm going to give this one away to you guys for free. You pay attention to your nutrient intake. Make sure you're not having deficiencies. I personally supplement D3, a multivitamin, and fish oil myself. And then you're creating a calorie deficit, which through the rest of these are going to help you stay on track towards doing that. You're going to focus on high intensity cardio. You're going to be working. And then not just restricting. And then also you're incorporating weight training to maintain your strength and gains, along with your protein as well, which brings me to the next bullet point we can say right here. Protein, once again, is essential for maintaining muscle mass during cutting. So make sure you're consuming adequate amounts of protein to support muscle mass, which 1 gram per pound of body weight. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but I weigh 145 to 150 pounds today. My goal is to just stay at 150 the rest of my life. So I'm going to eat 150 grams of protein a day. That's going to be my diet. And then also make sure to get enough rest and recovery. It's kind of easier to go on less sleep when you're maintaining muscle, but regardless, you should always be getting 6 hours of sleep minimum a night. So 8's better if you really want that edge. Now, if you're a busy, packed person, you're really about that grind, go for 6, but don't settle for anything less. Make it work. Yeah, so you can cut your breaks. You can tolerate more stress. You can grow some more hair on your balls, right? So eat high volume, low calorie food now if you are struggling to eat less and maintain a calorie deficit. So like some really good examples of this would be like watermelon, for example. I think a whole watermelon is something like 500 calories. And yeah, you can have like, sugar-free gel, it kind of like just absorbs like water. But anyway, if you after a meal you can't really hit that spot, you can maybe have some for dessert, hit the spot, and then just get your stomach to shut up. Now, the main thing that's going to not only hit that spot, but also keep it full is like fats and fiber. So try to make sure to include a realistic amount of those into your diet too. Now, no matter what, there's also, here's a bonus outside of the core 4 that I follow for my own health. And to also make things easier, I wouldn't even call it a bonus. I say you actually need to do it yourself. I don't have liquid calories at all unless it's like a form of a protein shake. And even then, it's unsweetened almond milk. And like literally, the calories are only coming from protein for the most part. There's going to be that small 20-25% outside of them that you can't really control because nothing's purely protein. But you get my point. So try to go for like the lowest calorie, like cashew milk, almond milk that's unsweetened, only has like 25 calories a cup or two. for example. And then also another thing, I don't know if you guys know this or not, a lot of people seem not to. Alcohol outside the grid actually has only like 7 calories per gram. Well, actually has, sorry, a whole 7 calories per gram. So a lot of people think alcohol doesn't. It actually does. And if you read right here and you pause the video, you can actually see that, yeah, there's a lot of long run effects. So alcohol itself doesn't directly make you fat, but it can make you fat by making your diet harder and making you fall off your diet, which will then make you fat. So it's a lot of long run play stuff that people don't make clear. There's no one specific bad thing, which is as long as you know how to keep everything in moderation, you can get a little taste of everything here and there. You just got to do it right? So the only right way to do it, though, is moderation. So, like I said, my main tactics to stay healthy and stay on track with everything, I switch to Diet Pop. I don't bitch that it's bitter. You get used to it within a month. Number 2, I avoid liquid calories because they're not going to fill me up. Candy's not going to fill you up. That's just a craving buster. So use your 20% junk food freebies, whatever you want today, to hit those cravings away, and actually use the 80% whole foods to feel full. That way you stay on track. So that pretty much covers everything. There's no main thing to focus on. No matter what it is in life, no goal has a silver bullet. It may have an eye-opener that unlocks a lot more doors for you, but long story short, there's never a silver bullet to anything. There's only a bunch of golden BBs, and I'm pretty much here to make it as easy as possible for you to consume all those. But nonetheless, the start's always the hardest. This is as easy as it gets. Doesn't mean it's not going to be difficult, but good things don't come easy. And all I know is that this is simple enough to where if you don't get something, I'm literally right here, and you literally have no excuse to quit. It's all virtual. It's all compact. You can learn it very quickly. All you got to do is sacrifice 90 days of your life to actually commit to something for once, and you'd be outstanded and amazed by exactly what your mind can do that no one has probably ever taught you before in your life. So even if it's not to do with fitness, something outside of it, just any other like hard thing mentally on you, that's what I'm here to help you through as well. Yeah, consistency's the goal, commitment's the goal, and yeah. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I hope this wasn't too confusing. I also wanted to keep it short and brief for you as well, because you only get so much time in life. But nonetheless, you have questions, let me know. And yeah, super excited for everyone.